Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the channel if this is your first time. I probably always say this, but I do apologize because this might be like a not so happy video that we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be doing a story time. It's a story that I definitely feel like needs to get out there. It's not even just my own. It's something that I share with my family and also someone really close to me. Um, so I guess I'm gonna tell the story like as it happened for me, and then kind of explain a couple things as I can though. So I'm just gonna get into it. All right. So on June 5th of last year, 2018, I had got a phone call from my cousin, and I didn't answer it because we had plans so bad. We had plans to go to the aquarium, but I didn't. For some reason, I could not sleep that night, and I didn't go to bed till like 6 o'clock in the morning. So when she called, I didn't answer the phone. Maybe like an hour later, my mom called, and again, I didn't answer the phone because I thought it was going to be, about going to the aquarium. A couple, maybe like a couple minutes, like 20 minutes later or something, my cousin or somebody ends up knocking at my door, and it ends up being my cousin. Mind you, she's like banging at the door. So I didn't know who it was. So honestly, I was kind of upset because I'm like, it's super early in the morning. Why? I know you ain't the police banging at my door. So I'm like, cussing, like, damn, hold on. I'll be there in a minute. Like, let me get dressed first. So I go down, I answer. It's my cousin. I'm like, surprised. I'm like, oh shit. She's like crying. And I'm taken back for a second. And she's like, hey, we need to go to your mom's. I'm like, what? And she's like, they found Des. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, they found Des unresponsive in her jail cell. I'm thinking she's joking. I'm like, no, there's no fucking way. Mind you, my sister had went to jail like 12 hours before. There's no way she could be dead. It's a joke, and this is a sick joke. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. Like, this is fucking sick. I can't even believe you're telling me this. But at the same time, I knew it was true because she wouldn't say that for no reason, if it wasn't. So she's like, you got to get dressed. We got to go to your mom's house. So I'm like, okay. I'm hysterically crying. I'm like covering my mouth and stuff. I'm low-key like having a panic attack almost. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever really had one, but like I think that was as close as I think I've ever gotten to one. So I go upstairs, I get dressed, kind of. I just throw some clothes on, not even really, don't do my hair, nothing. Because who cares. So we get in the car. She's driving, luckily, because I couldn't drive. Definitely I would not have been able to drive in that state. I'm feeling crazy. I make a text message to someone, and then I end up going to my mom's house. I'm like, Mom, like, what is going on? What happened? She ends up telling me that York facility called her that morning at about like an hour before, maybe like a half hour before they started trying to get a hold of me, and they told me that they had found my sister. Well, they told my mom that they found her unresponsive, and they didn't really know what happened or whatever, but she had passed away. And of course, we're all flipping out because, like I said, she had only been in jail for like 12 hours. Literally, she went to court on Monday. And the way the court is, you're there all day. Even if you're called in the very beginning of the day, if you're in a situation where you was in jail or in like a holding or whatever, they're not even gonna let you go until everybody is seen from that facility or whatever, and then they'll take them back at once. So she goes, and the day before, I guess that Monday, she went before the judge or whatever. They decided, because of certain situations or whatever, they decided to make her bond a little bit higher, and she wasn't necessarily able to bond out right away, so she was gonna just spend like another night in there and then come out, as soon as we was all able to do it. So she doesn't even get to the jail because the jail is at least like almost an hour away from the town where she had got arrested. So she goes there, almost gets there an hour later. Mind you, this is in the middle of the afternoon, coming into late afternoon, at least for, at least, you know what I'm saying, at least like that time. So she has to go through processing on all that stuff. And then even when she did get in there, you know, we didn't get a call from her or anything like that. So from the time that she had been processed till about 8:30 in the morning, she was alive. And after that, it, no, nothing, something happened. I mean, I feel like something happened, but I'll get into that in a minute. So, you know, we're all feeling crazy or whatever. We, you know, have to deal with it. We still have other family members that we have to tell. I have to tell my brothers. I have to tell my brother that lives all the way in New Mexico. My dad, you know, she has kids who still don't know. Her fiance doesn't know because he's at work. You know, like I said, the kids are at school. So it was so much. There was no way that I was going to let any of them finish their day. And my sister had been passed and they didn't know. So I got on the phone. I called my nephew's school, told them that they were going to be picked up. I called my brother-in-law, let him know, hey, we're about to come get you. I didn't want to tell him over the phone. I know I built up so much anticipation by even saying like anything on the phone, but I didn't want to tell him, and I wanted him, like, I wanted all of us to be in person before like anybody found out anything. It didn't really work that way though. So by the time we went to go pick him up, he had already talked to my mom. My mom let him know what happened. So he was at work, broken down. Like, I've never seen him this, like, and I could definitely understand. I never seen him so hurt before. Like, it was the worst thing. I think one of the worst things I've seen. So we end up going, after that, we all get ourselves together. We go, we get the kids, you know, he tells his kids, which I think was the right thing to do. That was his father, their mother. He should have been the one. So I definitely, you know, I'm glad sort of the way that worked out. And then, you know, we go back to my mom's house. We're having to deal with everything. Then we're like, okay, so so much happened that day that I probably don't even remember, to be honest. My eyes, I cried so much that my eyes were swollen. I feel like I looked like my sister more than I have ever had looked like her ever in my life. I looked like her that day, and everybody kept calling me her name. And it bothered me so much because I'm like, yo, I'm not Des, and I'm not meaning to get mad at them, but it's like I needed someone to be mad at, you know. And I can't even just say that. It's just, you know, I was getting so frustrated with everything. Everything started happening so fast after that. So she dies on the 5th. That's when everybody finds out. The next day, somebody has to go up there to go view her body in Farmington, Connecticut at the Yukon Medical Center. Mind you, this same center that does every autopsy for like this part of Connecticut, or like it's insane how many bodies go through there considering there's such a small facility. Anyway, so I had, this is going to sound crazy, but I did choose to go up there and go see my sister. I felt like I knew what I wanted to ask. I knew what to ask in general, not just things that I wanted to ask, but like the mandatory questions that somebody should be going up there and asking. And months, for months before this, like almost a whole year, I don't know if any of you guys know about Kanika Jenkins, but I was on that case for so long. Not like legally on her case, you know, but I was just so interested in it. I've never had the opportunity to be, to have access to so much information about something, and you know, nothing was, you know, for sure or anything like that. And I knew something wasn't right when I seen certain things, especially when I seen her crime scene videos. Not the videos, but like her photos, the crime scene photos. I'm like, no. Anybody who has took any kind of forensics or anything like that knows, like, and I'm not saying like, or I took forensics. I took like a basic forensics class. I did not do anything more with it because I don't like blood. But I'll be honest, I remembered every single thing. So I'm not certified. I'm not, you know, I didn't go to really end up going to school for that or anything. But to be honest, like, I knew the stuff that I was seeing did not make sense. There was no way that this girl, like, yeah, she didn't, Kenny didn't even freeze to death in that freezer. To be honest, I think that freezer wasn't on like they originally said. All that stuff. But I'm not even gonna get into it. Not even gonna get into it. Because I could go on. But no, seriously though, like I did everything with that kid. Like I'm looking at tons, like all, like I'll be honest, like I low key have PTSD because like I think of those images sometimes. Like, but I'll be honest, it's not really like in a negative way. But so when it came to my sister, there was no way in hell that I wasn't gonna be doing anything that I could do. So I go up there. I'm asking them, all right. So what time did was she found? All right, she was found at around like 8:30. Okay, so she's in the medical unit, mind you. She was in the medical unit. They're supposed to be watched like every 15, 20 minutes. Like literally, a guard is supposed to go by them if they don't see them breathing or anything like that. They gotta go in there and wake them up, make sure everybody's alive, right? So I asked the investigator, the medical investigator. I don't know what her exact title was. I'm like, so what stage of death was she found in? You know anything about this? Then you'll know it takes a certain amount of hours for the body to go through different stages of the death, right? Not of the death, but of death, right? So she said, oh, she was already in a rigor mortis. I said, so she had been dead for at least like 2 to 6 hours. Give or take at least 2 to 6 hours. Mind you, she was supposed to have being watched every 15, 20 minutes. Somebody wasn't doing their job. I'm like, all right, what else happened? Like, I ended up finding out that somebody was taken out of the cell after midnight. She was in a cell with 3 other women. She was already complaining about, maybe not really feeling that good. She wanted the lights to be off, and I think that was a problem for some of the other women that was in the cell because they couldn't sleep. It was dope fiends. My sister says, no. My sister had other medical problems, and that's why she was in there. But I had nothing to do with anything like with these women. So in my mind, I'm already thinking like, all right, this is weird, you know. So I ended up going to see her, like actually seeing her on the table laying there. It was crazy because that's my older sister. We're 4 years apart. You know, she taught me so much. I think that's why I'm in love with music the way that I am, is because of her. My first concert was because of her. To be honest, I haven't been to concerts in mad long. The reason why I start going is because this is something I love to do. God forbid, I want to start doing the shit I love again. I want to do things to honor her, things that me and her did together. So I've been going to concerts more. That's why I kind of started this page. That's why I even have anything. To be honest, she had a little YouTube channel. She had one video. She didn't even put the video up like because she wanted to share it with everybody. No, she put the video up because that's the only way she was able to put it up on Facebook to be able to share it with us, because it was like a Christmas video. But that's the only thing that I really have that I can go back anytime I want and see that video of her. So that's kind of why I do my channel too. Right. So I go and I see her lying there. And like I said, this is my older sister. She means the world to me. She's so much of who I am today and why I am who I am today. That shit killed me. On the low, I didn't cry when I was there or nothing like that, because that wasn't the time. Like I wasn't there to be all emotional. I was there to ask questions. I was there to get the information that I needed to get to be able to help my sister, because there was nothing I could do for her while she was alive, like to be able to save her. So I'm gonna do whatever I can do to help her in her afterlife. Make sure she gets, if it is a case where she deserves justice, I'm gonna make sure I do what I can to help her get it. So, we're looking at her. I'm asking, why does she have certain marks on her face or whatever? I understand, like, lividity, all that stuff. Your blood goes to a certain part of your body, depending on your length. No, but she had bruises on her lips and stuff like that. Didn't make sense that other people who had seen her the day before, because I was actually working, so I couldn't go up there, but her fiance went up there. That's why I knew it was all right, because her fiance was up there with her that day. And she didn't have none of that. And he even said, what's up with her face? Why does she have these marks or whatever? They're like, oh, because of this. And in my mind, I'm thinking, like, that doesn't necessarily happen. So something's not making sense anyway. So we end up leaving. They don't show us her whole body, to be honest. They just show me her face. But I felt like a lot of the questions that I needed to ask, I asked, and I got the answers that I, not necessarily the answers that I wanted, but I got answers. So I ended up going, well, we all ended up going because it was me, my aunt, and her fiance. We ended up leaving. We're outside. We're talking a little bit. And then I was really tired. I was really tired because I hadn't been sleeping or anything. So when we get back into the town that we live in, I come home and I take a nap. I didn't realize though that after we had met with the coroners that they were going to the funeral home because they needed to start like the process. So when I woke up, I went to my mom's house. I found out everything is like done. Like they picked out her casket, all that stuff. Like she's about to be moved there. They're about to like do the all embalming and everything. And I'm like, son, don't feel right. This is happening way too fast. My dad's not even out here. My brother's not even out here yet. They don't even, have a chance to like help with anything, even if they want it. Not saying that that stuff is important, but that was also their last time. So it's just, there was so many things that were happening. I'm like, this is happening way too fucking fast. Way too fucking fast. I was right. Because a little bit after that, I go home. Like, I'll be honest, I flip out on everybody. I flip out on my aunt because I felt like, me personally, I just, at that time, I felt like, she was there and I wanted to be there, but it just was so many, like, it was, sorry, Didi. But it got to be so much. And, like, I flipped because it just was so much. My sister just died. I just seen her dead body. This shit is, low key losing it, kind of like keeping it together and shit, but I'm low key losing it. So they end up, like after all this stuff happens or whatever, I think it's actually the next day, they go out to eat. They go out to eat, and somebody tells them a story about a girl who was just in jail, gets into a fight, something happens, they end up having to take a girl out the cell, and they're talking about my sister. They're talking about my sister. So somebody that was in the jail cell with her, or knew, yeah, somebody that was in the jail cell with her, knew someone who worked at that restaurant, told them the story, everything. And then they came, that like whoever it was that knew the story just so happened to be the waiter, and randomly starts talking about it. Dead ass, she's talking about my sister. She makes it a point, like, yeah, yep, like that. Oh, shit was crazy. And I'm like, you see what I'm talking about? You see, like, there's no reason why we should have been doing everything so fast, and we already have a story that's going on. So in my mind, I'm like, Mom, all right, this don't even make sense. Now we need a lawyer because, first of all, how was she dead if she was supposed to be checked on every 15 minutes? She shouldn't have died in there. She should have died in a freaking hospital, if anything, because they should have seen something was wrong and they should have been taking her to where she needed to go. And if that wasn't the case, if she got into a fight, ooh, regardless, Mom, we need a lawyer. I want to see the videos from there. I want to know who was on the clock, like who was working the rounds in the medical unit. I want to know who she was in the cell with, if they can give us that information. I want to know everything, everything. I'm telling my mom over and over and over again. We get a lawyer, whatever. He's not answering our calls, nothing. Barely like returning on call, not like horrible. Months go by, months and months and months go by. He didn't even ask for my sister's autopsy report. He didn't ask for the toxicology, nothing, right? So let me tell you, I'm so glad I said that. So she ends up having to have a autopsy report because they didn't know how she had died, right? They initially tell my mom that my sister didn't have a thyroid, which is like it's like a little thing at the end of your tongue, like all the way in the bottom of your throat or whatever. It helps with like hormones and like regulation of like your body and stuff like that. So they told her my sister didn't have one at all, and maybe that's how she died. But you can't live without a thyroid. Doesn't make sense. If you're born without a thyroid as a baby, you literally have to get a procedure done so that you get a transplant or something. 'Cause you can't live without a thyroid. So, and I don't even mean to laugh. I'm laughing because I'm fucking frustrated. And this shit is ridiculous that they would even try to say this, right? So, the day that we went to go see her at the at UConn, they did her autopsy then, right? they're like, all right, well, so it doesn't make sense, so we need to have a toxicology report, right? They do the toxicology report. By now, like the day after that happened, they don't even have the body no more. The body is in a whole nother town where, getting its hair, getting clothes, all that shit ready for her to go on the ground. So they don't have the body, right? All they have is like the information that they had got off when they first did the autopsy, which is like, the little pieces of each organ or whatever, weight of it, all that stuff. So they get the toxicology report back a month and a half later, and they call and they tell my mom, oh, well, she actually did have a thyroid. We found it at the bottom of her tongue. She had an enlarged heart and a fatty liver. So my mom is like, oh, all right, that's how she died. And I'm like, my mom tells me, I'm like, no, no, no. How did she die? Like, so did she have so if that's the case, did she have like a seizure? Did her heart fail? Did her liver fail? Any of that stuff? No? Okay. So, and how did they find a thyroid? How did they find her thyroid? If they didn't even have her body no more. If they did, they would have found it the same day that they called you, mom, the first day, and they told you that she didn't even have a thyroid at all. So now something isn't making sense. So I call them and I'm like, okay, well, a woman had already called my mom, the coroner, called my mom the first day. I'm telling her everything. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. This does not make sense. You're not really giving me a cause of death or like how she really died. Something is not making sense, because how do you find a thyroid a month and a half later? Now all of a sudden she has a fatty liver and enlarged heart. How did you guys not see this the very first day? And if you did, why did you wait a month and a half to call and say all this stuff that you've seen, and not had to wait for the toxicology to get back? So stuff doesn't make sense at all. Even in the paper, like you go to the paper and there was only one tiny little thing about it. Mind you, there's like 25 women who died in this jail right before, and one woman who died 2 days before my sister. 2 days before my sister, in the same unit, almost at the same time. So somebody is not doing their job. And whoever this person, like that AM staff, I don't know if that's an AM staff or if technically that's like an overnight staff, but they all need to get checked and somebody needs to be fired. Maybe multiple, because if this happened to multiple women, if that wasn't the same person who found both of them, there's definitely a problem. Definitely a problem. Because 25, oh, let me also tell you too, because of the kind of deaths that they've had, there's 9 other cases. There's 9 other cases that are pending right now against them. We have one right now, but guess what? You have to get permission from the state to sue the state. So we're like waiting now. We had to subpoena, or we're having to like subpoena records just so we can get any kind of information, because they're not, like, the lawyer just asked for them, they won't give them to them. They're like, nope, you gotta do the most. You want this information, you're gonna have to do the most. Because I feel like they're trying to save their ass. So yeah, this was my story time. My sister died in jail after only 12 hours. That shit don't even make sense. So, I don't know. I felt like I had to get this story out here. For one, if I go on YouTube and I try to find anybody that I can relate to, there's nothing. There's no, my brother died in jail, my sister died. No, family member died. No, I don't see any of that. And I know with the number of people that are incarcerated, and I know the rate of deaths that are in either women's jails, prisons, whatever, or even the men's, I know there are people out there who have gone through the same thing that I have, women who have gone through the same thing that I have, just whatever. Like, I just really felt like, if we don't get these stories out there, then we're not going to be able to help each other at all. Because if nobody knows, then did it happen? You know, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the more people that I can tell the story to, the more chance that we have of, like, helping other women in the future, helping the women that, or the men that, were in these same situations. Like, because at the end of the day, the system is fucked. The jail system is fucked. That's all I really even have to say about that, to be honest. So if you stuck with me through this whole video, I definitely appreciate it. I I appreciate you guys in general for, even clicking on it, even if you didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you got the first couple minutes and you heard, oh, my sister died in jail, that's all I need you to know. Share this video if this is something that if this is an issue that you want to help with. Please share this video. Like, comment if you guys can relate a little bit. I'll be honest, I don't want to hear no negative shit if it has anything to do like with my sister or whatever. I don't want to hear it. I'm not here for it. So you could just take that shit somewhere else. No offense to anybody who is here, just even watch, even if you don't want to do anything. Like I said, I just appreciate anybody just knowing the information, because God forbid one day like something happens and then you have this story to tell your friend. Oh, I knew somebody on YouTube whose sister or whatever, so yeah, I just want you guys to try to share. I don't even know, man. And I also guys want to I also want to let you guys know that I'm not really going to edit this video at all, like, because I've done this video so many times, and I've saved it to edit it later, do all that stuff, was about to put it up, gets erased somehow, and it just don't work. So like when I'm done with this, I'm going to upload it, and what you see is what you get. Today is February 4th, I think. It's like 11:13 at night right now. So hopefully this will be up by the 5th. That'll be kind of crazy, because did I say February? Did I say it was like February 1st? No, March. Whatever. But it's March like 4th. Yeah, whatever. All right. Well, you guys have a good night. Stay safe. All of you, stay safe. And thank you for watching again.